but we've always had that delusional optimism that I believe truly is what kind of like sets winners apart. No, I'm just joking.
Thanks for your concern. Welcome back to Thanks for Your Concern. You're here with Berenice.
And I'm Ella. Welcome back. It's a beautiful day to be alive. Berenice, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling alive today. Every day's new. I'm like stalling the question because how am I doing? I think I'm doing okay. It's been like a month since I quit my job. Okay, so let's start
1 month
there. And
officially.
she's
Time
official.
flies.
Time does in fact fly. And there's been some wins, so I'm happy about those. But there's also some losses.
What are the wins?
Wins is I'm doing everything that I said if I had more time, I would do.
That's a huge win.
That is a huge win. So, like, things are getting done. So, in that sense, that's like really nice. But obviously, it's like things are getting done slowly. Like success is not like built overnight here. And I feel like, obviously, it's been a month, like minimal income over here, right? No unemployment benefits. Like we are really raw dogging life right now. And I'm like, oh God, like what is my legitimate plan here if it doesn't work out? So there's like a little bit of that like inkling feeling of like, oh my goodness, like it doesn't work out. But at the same time, I'm like, no, it like has to work out. I put all my eggs in my own basket.
Huge win that you're doing what you said you would be doing if you had more time. I feel like that's like a reality check that you're like kind of in alignment with like what you should be doing. I do
Yeah.
feel like you're kind of entering a lifestyle where you don't have that like regular paycheck life where you just know once a month or 2 weeks you're going to get that income. And I think that's like the scariest part about what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I
It's
don't think
reality
that'll
today.
ever will go away when you're working for yourself and when you're freelancing. Like there's never gonna be a time where you're gonna be guaranteed a consistent check on the 15th of the month.
Yeah. So something about that is like really putting me on like, all right, like here's the plan and the plan is gonna work. And if the plan doesn't work, we'll change the plan a little bit, but like the plan's the plan. So in that sense, like it's been good. I think I've just been reflecting a lot, like, when family dynamics and stuff like that. Like I know that I have been the most like funded person in my family. Everybody does genuinely want to like help me out and like see me succeed and they see me being alone and they see the work, so they like try to help me out. I feel sometimes that like not that it gets thrown in my face, but like I'm very kind of like aware of like how that may look to like my cousins or my siblings, where it's like, oh, people are helping her out, but like I'm actually hoping like it works out and then like we can all go shopping with my money.
Like honestly, like props to your family for like seeing the vision, because I feel like if they didn't believe in the vision, they wouldn't
No.
be giving
Yeah.
funds to the vision. So like props
Yeah.
for them for seeing it, even if they don't fully see it, they kind of have to see it, because let me just tell you, like if they didn't see it, I don't think they would be supporting it. That's just how I feel. Like I think it shows support, and like I do believe it's like a little bit of like if I make it, we all make it kind of situation.
Hmm.
And like when I think about like my vision and kind of how we connect is like you want to provide really good jobs for people in the future, and like how cool will this be like once it's a thing, once we're officially bringing in funds and it's actually like CEO lifestyle, like it's gonna be great. And then
Oh,
people are gonna be like, I believed in her all along, and they're gonna be so excited about your success.
exactly. It's just gonna take some time. I'm just like, I'm gonna need everyone to be like a little patient with me.
They're early investors, okay? Like that's how
Yeah.
I feel like you should view it.
No, I definitely do, and sometimes I think that's the thing that makes me feel like there's a level of like delusion and cockiness to it. That it's like this is gonna work. Like it's all good. Like like they're investing in me. Fail. Just hold on. Just wait for it.
Early equity, babes. Getting it on the ground
Exactly.
floor.
Exactly. That's my favorite thing to say about myself too. When I'm in a dangerous, like a dumb, dangerous thing, or like when people tell me like you always put on your seatbelt so fast. I'm a big investment. Okay, I got a lot. I got myself, and I got a lot of people banking on me. So we're gonna stay safe.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like my dad's been like, you're my biggest investment. Like you're the person I've the most like kids are your biggest investment. They just end up
Yeah,
being that. Some people don't view it as an investment, but my
right,
parents
right.
certainly do.
They did. Well, how have you been? What have you been up to?
Honestly, the summer is summering, babes. I'm getting out and about into the community and I love to see it. Seattle, no one does shit when it's raining, which I understand, but it's like everyone's doing something and now everyone's like, "Oh, you want to do this? You want to do this?" I'm like, "Yes, baby, let's do it."
Do it.
I'm just trying to enjoy going and doing things. Dude, I low key am like obsessed with like bingo and trivia nights. Like you're gonna see
Okay.
me on a bar on a fucking Wednesday doing bingo, babes. I'm
I
obsessed.
get it. I get it. Loteria is big in Mexico. Okay, she brings joy to the world.
Bingo, it's so simple. It's such a simple game, but yeah, it's so fucking fun, bro. And it's funny because it's like hella people take it serious because there's money on the line. Like there's money to be won.
That is true. That,
I'm getting like a little gambling addiction from bingo. I'm like worried about myself. I'm like maybe I need to like stop playing
we're gonna
bingo.
start with the poker.
I know, dude, but it's so much fun. Just the daughter, just if you don't do bingo, like it's a very wholesome activity that I encourage people to go do.
Bingo. Okay. I'm definitely down to try that. There's actually a place semi-ish close to me that has bingo, and I actually have a funny story that just happened to me because I went to apply for a cute little part-time job there.
At the bingo place?
Well, it's not a bingo place. It's an establishment. It's like a establishment, but
Okay,
they do
okay.
like game nights and stuff
Oh,
like that.
right. Totally.
Totally, yeah. And then I went in and I'm like, I put my cute little pants on and look semi. There has to be like a way in Brooklyn that you show up at a restaurant that's not like overdressed because like I feel like everyone that works at a restaurant here is like artsy, and so you have to show up, just
Yeah.
like relaxed. And I went over there and I handed my resume. And the thing about my resume is a lot of like my past server jobs, actually all of them have been at like Mexican restaurants, right? Like obviously I spoke Spanish in Washington. They needed. So I've embellished some truths about my bartending experience just because that's where the money's at, okay? Imagine talking to me at the bar. Like you'd have a blast. So essentially I like have put some of those places as my bartending experience. And I walk into this restaurant and the owner is there. So she takes my resume and goes, "Home in Washington?" And I go, I was like, "Oh yeah." She's from Spokane. I was like, "What are the odds?" She's like, "I know all of these places." And I was like,
How intimately?
"I see. I see. I hope that some places have shut down."
That's hilarious.
Yeah, but it was a cute quickening. I hope it comes to my favor, that we have a good laugh about it later if she chooses to call me.
You're hoping. You're like, ring, ring, Eastern
Remember
Washington.
me? Yeah,
Mm.
I'm your Eastern Washington girl.
Okay, so I told you that there's like this influencer. He makes like six figures restauranting. And he said, get into Denny's. And once you have experience, you lie about that experience. If you were there for a month, you were there for a year. And then you go to the next restaurant. And he's like, that's how you move up. He's like, everyone lies. Just like once you get there, you'll figure it out.
You
And I was like,
have
that's great
to.
advice.
You do. I feel like the only one where you like, well, the thing is, every restaurant does it so differently. So as long as you're like
Hmm.
good with people and like not an asshole and you can take direction, like you can obviously like move pretty quickly through like the restaurant and hospitality line to find like a good gig. I know there's people in New York that make like a lot of money at like upscale restaurants. So, it's possible. It's possible. I always have my strengths and my weaknesses for restaurants memorized. One of them is I'm really good with people. I'm like people. I've
Just a
had good
joy.
reviews. People like working with me, and I think that's important.
That's half of the job, bro. Is getting people to want to be around you.
Want to be there. Yeah.
Hmm.
So we'll see what happens with that. But in the meantime, catch me on TikTok posting 6 to 10 times.
Babes, have you gotten any like traction? Has it already like paid off in even a little way?
Definitely. I think I'm
Good.
taking a peeky pooky at my analytics here and there just to see how the algorithm does with that. And at first it's a little tough because you're like, what am I gonna post 6 times? Like, what will I make? But once you really get the ball rolling, it's like, oh, it makes sense.
Yeah, clicks.
I had a mattress actress reach out to me for a Halloween costume, and I was like,
Ooh.
girl, I'd love to.
Perfect
Will this
vibes.
be used in the film?
I mean,
Can you make sure to tag me?
yeah, I was gonna say for her.
So listen, I'm in a big ploy, and it kind of ties into what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about the disaster artist.
The disaster artiste. All right, let's get into it. Who doesn't love a good disaster artist?
So for those who don't know what a disaster artist is, or like don't know the reference, this is coming directly from the film. It's like the 2017 movie based on a 2003 movie called The Room. And it was basically showcasing a very passionate, some would call delusional, optimistic man on a journey to become a star by, starting in his own film.
And The Room is from 2003. I feels older than that if I'm going to be honest, but that is 21 years ago. But The Room is not good
In the
allegedly.
traditional sense.
In a traditional sense. There's some issues with the plots, the acting, there's some issues with it. It was not commercially successful. And then the disaster artist is like about the making of The Room. But personally, I feel like a lot of people say shit and they don't do shit. So when I see people like kind of stand on business and do things, we all know The
You have my
Room.
vote.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
what's better, not making any movie or making a terrible movie that then gets adapted into a Franco film?
And then gets redistributed in 2017 and onward because they were just brought attention to the fact that maybe just wasn't placed in that right genre. It's giving soft porn comedy. You know what I mean? And maybe
Yeah,
that's what it should have been introduced as. True disaster artist, I feel, is just like someone who's like very passionately and just like miserably fails.
I love it. Miserably fails, maybe has and then honestly a comeback story.
Yeah,
You know?
that's part of the bit here.
It's like in the time wasn't viewed well and then kind of has a comeback story. Okay, so like not a disaster artist completely, but I just kind of think of this idea and I think it's funny. Do you know Emily Dickinson, the poet's story?
No, I'm not familiar. What is it?
So she didn't publish any of her works because she just did it to did it, and she actually thought her work was shit. So she didn't publish any of it. She dies. Her brother is like, holy shit, this bitch is prolific. And she's one of the most famous poets of all time. And I don't know, I just think there's something kind of like amazing about someone who's like, nah, this is like for me. Like, I don't really want to make money off of this. I actually don't think it's great because they have like such a high level of taste. And then after the fact, boom, bam, boom. It's like they didn't even know how good they were.
Yeah, it's part of the imposter syndrome. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it just doesn't feel like a hit, but it is. And that's why I think it's worth it to try. Even if the fail comes. You learn from the fails. And most fails you could save. That's a good save. You just have to be like a real improv star about it.
Improv, always, always improving.
Yes, and
Okay, some of my like favorite disaster moments, like honestly, I just want to say like everything this is my personal belief. So we're going to tell some stories about college. I believe that who you are before your prefrontal cortex completely forms, I think that's like a wash, okay? Like who you were before 25, that's a wash. If after 25 you're a better person, then great. I thought like this one moment that was like a disaster artist is like early on, like me and Berenice, we had a little bit of toxic traits. We would just go out, go party a little hard. And I remember, do you remember when they put up the bulletin board with everybody's grades and they had like a nice little pearl next to everyone that had above like a 3.7 or something? And there was a pearl next to me and Berenice's name. And everyone was like fucking shocked and awed. And I was like, hey, we might have some problems, but we're not dummies, okay?
Exactly. See, intelligence is not sometimes extremely directed in in toxic traits and habits, those are emotional and mental problems. All right. And
Right?
maybe we had some of those we had to work out in the past. Like, who does it? All right. But yeah, our grades were in check.
Literally, like, I only think I had like one rough semester. I had like one rough semester, but most of college I was fucking stellar, dude. And I just think it was like kind of like a disaster artist where it's like people, they were like, oh, they're so out of their depth. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Oh no, we know what's going on. There's just some underlying issues. Okay, disaster.
Yeah, and I think honestly, I went into like my Finsta from college. I have not posted, but
Oh, the
and
Finsta.
the Finsta from
Does everyone
college.
know what a Finsta is?
I hope so. I hope we're not that old, but a Finsta is essentially just like a fake account that you use to post. You do like some people did like nudes, some people did like incriminating content, some people just did like the sillies. Mine is really the sillies. There's like nothing incriminating that I would willingly put on the internet. You know what I mean? Like that's nuts. But yeah, so it was a collection of photos, essentially just like blacked out photos, being silly, being a little bit of what you could like if I were to say, oh God, like that was giving disaster artist, it was all of college. But we were like lovely people, truly. Like I will say we were messy, but we were extremely optimistic. Like there wasn't something we didn't like believe we couldn't do. And I think maybe that was also like I don't know if that was part of the problem, but I think we just were aiming at the wrong things. You feel me? Like our delusion and optimism now is like tailored to the right goal. In
Right.
college, when you're surrounded with like parties and not like the best influences or the best people, or like, you get caught up in like the little cycle of the partying and the culture, your goals are just not giving, they're not giving.
I say this, but like us being a sorority was a bad use of our energy. And I think we committed to the bit so hard. We went way too hard in a certain sector that like ultimately was just not it. And so that's why I said it was like off brand, is because we were like diehards. We were into it and we were really trying to make this fucking place successful as possible. We were getting really creative with it. Like we were going balls to the wall, but like now that same energy is focused towards other endeavors. But we've always had that delusional optimism that I believe truly is what kind of like sets winners apart. No, I'm just joking. But it's like if you cannot be delusional about it, then like you're never gonna like overachieve something that's possible.
Exactly. My delusional optimism really carried across the board. I grew up camping, so there was one time in college where I thought I needed it. Like I needed to get out of our little college town. I wanted to go camping really badly. And honestly, I think because we were so late to the original plan, I was ready to leave everyone behind. I was like, me and my boyfriend got this, like, goodbye. But except when I got my stuff ready, so did everybody. And I was like, well, I guess we're all going. The thing is, we all thought we were going to have a great time, even though it was already like 4 in the afternoon, late October, northern Idaho.
Honestly, I think we all really had this idealistic camping, like nostalgic, wholesome activity that was needed across the board. Like there was a lack of
Morale was low.
um yeah, morale was low and we're like, you know what? If we go out into nature and we sleep underneath the stars, I feel like we're gonna come back refreshed, renewed. So there was a lot of like vigor behind this camping idea because it was like needed.
And mind you, I had been camping with people who like went mountaineering, people who like just did a lot of things like on their own. So anytime we camped, it wasn't like I was doing everything for myself. It was like I had a very skilled group of people with me, and we all kind of like divided and conquered the labor based on our strength. Now, mind you, we went in like a little sedan, like boat car situation, 5 people car, 5 people, 2 people tent, one bundle of wood, good vibes. All right. No cell reception. We also I looked up like a random area to camp at because there weren't a lot of places where you could actually camp in northern Idaho that weren't like super remote. So I found one and I was like, this is fine. Didn't realize because like in Washington they don't like it's not like hunting season, open season. Like Washington's got a lot of like
No.
conservation stuff. So that was never in my mind that it was open season. in Idaho, and we were like in the middle of just like hunters. And we're walking
Mhm.
around because now we have to get wood, right? But like this campsite is full of people we don't know, don't want to talk to us. No, no, not one person is in a tent, mind you. We came in a little car with a little two-person tent. Everybody is in an RV, all
Yeah.
right? We see a couple of people, we approach them, strapped, guns and
Mhm.
knives, all
Very
right?
scary.
Very scary, spooky. Now, did they help us? Somewhat. They did look at us like we were idiots, and mind you, we probably were. Did we save that? Did we have a wonderful time there? No. No, we bailed the second we heard an animal in the darkness and our fire was.
Yeah, and it was really funny because at one point someone turned to me and they were like, Ella, why'd you bring a book? And I was like, oh, you know why I brought a book? Is because I thought I was gonna wake up tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. and it was gonna be light out and I was gonna enjoy some quiet nature reading. Okay?
No, no, it was pitch black. You heard like shuffling, and I don't know. We heard gunshots. Like I truly like. I think like the second there were noises and we couldn't see like past our faces, we were out.
Camping is super liberating, but it's also really scary as a concept because you're like, so there's nothing between me and a fucking mountain lion right now. Like it's just me and like the wilderness, all the animals, like and in my experience when I've been camping in Washington, I don't know, like everywhere, I guess I haven't, you know what? I overestimated my like wilderness abilities because every time I've camped, I was so fucking prepared. Like because my dad was so dead ass serious. Like, you don't want to be caught in like what are you gonna do if it rains and you don't have matches? And it's like, okay, that's why my dad had a flint. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, what happens if you don't have if your tent goes down? Okay, that's why you have a tarp. This is what you would build. So I just wasn't we were not prepared.
You know, I have to say, I have no fear of the wilderness. Like the wilderness, the bears, all of that, that's fine. For me, man or bear, man is the one I'm afraid of. And there was just like a
Sure.
lot of them surrounding us with weapons. And I realized right there and then, we have no weapons, nor a safe place
Nothing.
to sleep, nor lighting devices. Our phones don't even work. The odds were against us. I didn't like my odds right there.
And like I literally just remember like the discussion of like, okay, you guys, we have two choices. We either make this work and we're gonna need everyone to like put on their fucking camping wilderness hats, or we get the fuck out of here. And people were like, let's get the fuck out of here. And we're like, all right, let's do it, brother. And I think like the upside of that, we ended up like going back and like ended up having like a decent time in Pullman. It's like, you know what? Way to turn that one around.
Sometimes the save is the bail. All right, you gotta know when to quit.
I honestly think more people should quit. Okay, and I'm not saying quit your dreams, but when you're fucking, you know that there's the
The plan.
probabilities. Yeah, if the plan looks like shit and the probabilities of things going well are not looking great, fucking regroup. What's the new plan? The new plan's getting home safe. Well,
Ideally, one thing that I think you can never, you will. One thing I think you can be always a disaster artist at is like hooking up with various people in your friend group or dating various people in your friend group. Personally, that's never ended well for me or anybody I know.
no. You know what's funny is life is long. And sometimes you make some short-sighted decisions and they have long-term implications. Like, you know what? If I hook up with this guy and then hook up with his friend, it's not a big deal in the moment. Yeah, the next morning and he's asking who's in your room and they're like and you hear him pause like damn, do I tell my boy or do I fucking lie? And he tells his boy, and his boy was like, oh, word. And you're like, fuck, you're overhearing all this. And you're like, I was trying to get out of this fucking without anybody noticing. And then you keep on, and then you have that awkward moment play in your head anytime you see either of them for the next 10 years of your life. Mm.
And then put yourself into the situation, like even if it was just for hee hee ha ha, you might like catch feelings or something crazy like that. And then if they like do something to wrong you, you're gonna be upset. All right, you're gonna be upset mainly because sometimes we don't like the people that are right for us. Not always. Okay, it takes a little. I feel like for you to really know that a person is for you, it takes a little bit more of deliberation. And when you're like kind of doing your thing and like doing the homie hopping thing, there's not a lot of deliberation in that. Like that's just more like spur of the moment, like fun girl. I get it. Like love her. But I think that sometimes when we're being fun girls, we do end up with the wrong. Most of the time, we already know that they're not the right fit. You know what I mean? And not only we know, but everybody else knows. Yeah. In my experience, I haven't gotten a lot of sympathy for being upset about being a willing participant into a bad situation, knowing that the outcome was going to be. All right. And now I'm mad at everybody.
Honestly, I swear in life, one of the biggest mistakes you could do is picking the wrong friend. You know, because you jump in too soon, everyone pairs off, and then you're like, fuck, I picked the wrong one. And to homie hop, the second one never worked, because rarely works out.
You can save it. I believe that you can save it. I've saved it before,
Yes.
okay? But you just need to bring something else to the table.
But the odds are not as good as if you just picked right the first time.
Yeah, I agree. I take your time on that one. I've jumped the gun a few too many times, and then you
Yep.
get to know them, all of them, because there's
Yeah.
more. There's always more. Remember, there's always more. And
In a group of hot guys, there's always more.
and it wasn't even like the second best choice. It was like the fifth. You know what I mean? Like there was
Yeah.
a line.
Have you ever had like someone like one of their friends try to tell you and you're like, ooh, and you didn't listen,
Yeah.
but then fast forward, you're like, damn, he did try to tell me that, huh?
They've all told me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like every single one of them, actually. None of them hyped that decision up. If
Mm-hmm.
anything, I wasn't up for them and they were down for me. And now I'm embarrassed. And I hope everybody forgets. You know?
Oh yeah, it's like, can we just forget? Can we just
Can we
like
just forget? Can we just
blank
forget?
slate? Let's restart it. Let's wipe the
Yeah.
sins of away and just blank slate it.
I believe that there are ways to save this. If you like accidentally hee hee ha ha crash out a little too hard for somebody in a friend group, or just overall, like by acting silly, like sometimes like getting too drunk and like doing something. I think like everybody loves character development when it's like genuine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like this is the best save. Just work on yourself and like show maturity and growth. And believe me, even if what you did was like pretty foul, if you come out on the other side, like changed woman, you know? People are gonna be like, wow, she like really learned from that experience.
And change takes time. So I think that's when
Mhm.
people like it can't be fake. People know when
No,
your shit is fake. Okay?
yeah,
But if you take like a genuine time out and you're like, you know what? I did not like myself in that moment. We need a hard reset.
yeah,
You got to give it enough time. But if you give it enough time, people are more receptacle because everyone wants a comeback story. Everybody wants see the disaster artist win. Never give up on yourself. It's never too late to like pull a 180 and just flip the situation.
exactly, exactly.
Sometimes we overestimate our losses, you know, like I mean sometimes we can recognize like that was super fucking foul, that was fucked up, I shouldn't have done. But then sometimes I think we get into our own heads, you know, and people really aren't as worried about you as you are. So, you know, do some time. And I don't know, people hit me up in a way where I'm like, damn, do they not remember when I fucking took that major L in front of them? And I'm like, well, maybe they do remember, they just don't give a fuck.
I think that you can take a lot of whoopsie doopsies L's if your heart's in a good place. Okay.
I think you get a lot of leeway if you're genuinely a good person, but you just make some
Yeah.
mistakes. I mean, if you're a shithead, people do not fucking put up with your shit. Like if you're
No.
mean, they like you know, it's just like if people don't
Yeah.
like you as a person because you're mean to people, they're a lot less forgiving for sure.
I agree. And I think that you can always tell when people's intentions are in the right place and people's hearts are in the right place from a situation that just went like horribly wrong. And may it be a disaster for a little bit, there's opportunity for save. I think that if in any sort of dynamic where failure is an option, there's always good to have like one friend that's like a silent leader, the risk person, you know, just to get some feedback on the plan. Mostly if you know that you're going in and your odds are against you. I think most of people know, and most people do be reaching out to somebody that's like a little bit more sound at the time to get some feedback. And that friend may not judge what you're going to do, but they are going to let you know that what you're doing is what you're doing. You know what I mean? Important.
Trusted friends. I say trusted adult. You know what I'm saying? What's your other trusted adult? Who is your most mature friend that's going to keep tell you that what's really going on?
Yeah, if you're gonna be stupid, you gotta be tough. You know.
Yeah, my aunt actually, she always says if you're gonna do something stupid, be smart about it. Like if you're gonna make a bad decision, just at least make it smart and at least make the plan make sense. There's the difference. And I've always said this. Me and Berenice, we have not had very many bad plans, but we've had a lot of bad executions. Okay, and that's just life. Like we would go into situations with a really great plan, but then shit would just kind of get fucked. And then I just think you need to realize like is this a bad plan? Like, is there's nothing good gonna come out of this situation? Maybe proceed with caution. And that's when I think the delusion part, I don't think that's a part of a bad plan. Like being delusional about something so that you're able to achieve something isn't a bad plan in my in my part of the book. But like being like, I'm gonna fuck this person over and I know I'm gonna fuck this person over, that's a bad plan.
Yeah, I would say at the end of the decisions, whether you think there's might be something risky on the other side, there's the L's and the A's. The L's are the possible loss, and A's are the accountabilities. Okay, so if you see something through and you realize, all right, the consequences of my actions may be this. You know, this situation may create. If you're not willing to take accountability at that end, maybe don't do
I love that because I
it.
think that also makes it so like when are you involving other people in your bad plan
Decision making.
in your
Yeah.
decision making because if things are just affecting you and your life it's a little bit easier to be kind of like if this is a disaster it's okay but when you're taking other people down with you and you need to be able to take accountability because if you can't if you're going to be scared and never say anything to anybody about it then you probably shouldn't do it. That's not fair to them.
Is not. I think a good example of all of these, there's like a new Netflix show. It's called Trainwreck, and they do different stories, like mini
Mm-hmm.
documentaries. They did the Travis Scott, which is like a place where A should have been considered and still remains. And then there's also the Poop Cruise. That one actually thought it was pretty funny.
It
And
was.
that was pretty funny. Sometimes like something is so bad, it's funny. But you can tell like who the agents of chaos, who like thrives in chaos, because the captain was like, so we told them to poop in bags. And honestly, it wasn't that bad of an idea.
I mean, to be honest, I was like, you know what? That's a genius idea. When I was watching it, I was like, really? I was like, that's
Would have
honestly
done the same thing.
I don't even know if I would have thought that one up. I was like, that's actually a pretty good idea. But honestly, you guys should watch it. But the one person that I thought was so funny was the lawyer who was like, ooh, I think there's some money in this. I think I feel a lawsuit. And he's like, and then it ends up that they've wrote into their terms and services that no one can sue them no matter what, which is crazy. Did you watch the one about the Toronto mayor?
Oh no, not yet.
Oh, that one's a little crazy. I mean, long story short, the man was using hard drugs and drinking while being the mayor, and it was captured via video. And
Yeah.
he didn't do the A at all. Because he basically was saying, like, could be me, could it be me? Like, I don't think that video's of me when it's really clearly of him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what this was a time that we kind of like relish in before we had like an iPhone that could film a movie. You know, it was the grainy Nokia where it's like, maybe this isn't me.
Yep.
But unfortunately, he's got a very distinct
Distinct.
look
Yeah.
and so it was definitely him using things. And I was like, man, if you'd taken that A little earlier, you might have been able to get out of this one, you know? But it's because he dragged on it with no accountability, no admission of guilt, that when it came up, people felt like, damn, you really lied to me. You know, like his constituents were really upset because they felt like they kind of like, people really dislike when you make them look a fool. So I think if you take accountability early, it makes people not look as foolish because you're admitting that you did wrong.
Yeah, and it takes it away from them. It's not
Hmm.
like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, you put your trust in that I would make the sound choice and maybe I didn't. That's on me. Rather than that's on you for thinking I would.
Yeah.
You know? Like, damn. My bad. I thought we were all decent here.
Yeah, literally. And then, that person defends you to their friend, like, no, she's not like that. And they're like, no, wait, she is like that.
So there's ways of being a good disaster artist and ways of just like, I mean, I think the opposite is really just being a shithead. Like,
I'm anti shithead. I really try to live my life. Like, if I'm trying to define what I'm trying not to be, it is a fucking shithead.
yeah, not every plan is going to be a good plan, but remember, where's your head at with this one? My heart was in the right place. Optimism always there, God given.
Clear minds, empty hearts. What is it?
Full hearts.
Full hearts.
Yeah.
Clear minds, full hearts. Can't lose. Every time. So that's intention, baby. Okay, so disaster artist. If you know a disaster artist or you took a big L but came up with a big W, please let us know. This was this week's episode. You can find us every single week here, and you can find us also on social media at Thanks Number for Your Concern, and I'm at LL Tutor.
And I'm at Berenice DSM.
We love to have you. Bye.
Bye.